Okay, hello everyone. Good evening. Uh, Welcome to today's edition of Project Spotlights. And you know what we do here? We talk to the people who are building the technology of today and tomorrow. And it's great being here again. I am Okikiola. I'm your host, and with me today I have Ibrahim. Ibrahim is the team lead of Cairoblocks, and I could do some introduction, but I think I'd rather just let him do the talking himself. Hello, Ibrahim.
Hi, Gukiola. Hi, everyone. My name is Ibrahim, and I'm the team lead building Cairoblocks.
Great, great, great. Okay, so to move on, I like to start these things with the why because I feel whatever one is doing, whatever project you decide to put your mind on, there was a reason why you started it. There was a project, a problem you were looking to solve, and everything. So, why Cairo blocks? Made you decide to start working on Cairo blocks? What made you decide to create Cairo blocks? What's the story behind it?
Okay, so the why of Cairoblocks is it actually boils down to our experience while we started building on Starknet. So back then the tooling was kind of like heavy, so it needed like a powerful machine actually to effectively write, compile, and deploy a Cairo contract. So I personally had that problem when I started writing Cairo back then. I Because before then I was like doing mainly backend stuff, building backend systems, which I didn't need. Excuse me, I didn't need a powerful system for that. But when I started writing Cairo, my system couldn't handle it, so I needed to upgrade to a more powerful system. So that is the why. That is the reason why we're building Cairo blocks such that developers that are coming into the space newly won't have to go through that experience of having to change their laptop or get like a more powerful laptop. So the idea came during an hackathon. The idea to build Cairo blocks came during an hackathon last year around May June at Muakra, Ghana. So we built it for this hackathon, and after the hackathon, we figured out that this project right has like a scope just beyond this hackathon. So we decided to continue building it from there. So that is where the idea came from. And also, talking about the why, another reason is to break that technical barrier, because Cairo was inspired by Rust. So if you're looking at the Cairo syntax, if you're a Rust developer, you'll be convenient with it. But if you're not a Rust developer, at first sight, the Cairo language might seem a little bit scary. So the visual interface that Cairo blocks provides makes it easy. It's just like it greatly reduces the learning curve for writing Cairo contrast, such that everybody, the both non devs like creatives and project manager, community managers, everybody can just come and write Cairo by simply arranging a set of Lego like blocks to build whatever they want. And our goal is to see that Cairo is to see that we simplify it in such a way that even kids, as early as 7 years old, could write Cairo programs and deploy on the blockchain.
That's great. That's great. That's great. I was talking to someone recently, and he was telling me about how he was teaching kids of like 5 and 7. That same age range you gave. He was teaching them to use Python, and I said, "This aren't they too young for it and everything?" And then you are even going so far saying, "Oh, they are doing Cairo and everything." That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Good one. Good one. Okay, and the name. Cairoblocks obviously shows, okay, this is I think the name is quite self-explanatory, and I like what you've done there with the name. Okay, so you're on Starknet Foundation. You've chosen Starknet Foundation as a place to build. Now, when you're at the hackathon, what's was it a Starknet related hackathon? Sorry, I think I missed that.
Yes, Starknet was part of the sponsors.
Okay, okay, but what would you say was the reason why you decided to just okay, let's just leave it at that. Let's talk about the funding you got. You guys got a funding last year and everything. Uh, some of the people who are watching now, people will be watching later, would want to understand how that came about, how they can also benefit from that and everything. So, can you talk us through it? Um, how did it happen, and how has it impacted your work and everything? I'd like
Okay,
to hear
first
that.
I'll start by talking about how it happened. So I think it was still last year. It was after the hackathon, and we all came back and we decided to start working on this project. So after working on it for a couple of months, of course we built like an MVP for it. I think we worked on it for about 3 months, right? So after working on it for that period of time, we now figured out that okay, this is something interesting. This is something that we would like to work on for some time, for a long period of time. So and we figured out that in order for us to continue working on this, we will need some form of funding because we all had full time jobs. So in order for us to either leave our full time jobs to work on this, we need some form of funding to be fully dedicated. So we decided to apply for the seed grant, the Starknet Foundation seed grant. And after we apply, excuse me, we waited for some time, think about a couple of weeks, and the foundation got back to us, and with the congratulatory message that we got the grant. And I think if okay, let me leave that for later on. So we got a message from the foundation saying we got the grant, and from then on we uh, went fully into building the project. So I think for other builders, for other developers who are interested in getting the grant, I think the first thing you need to do is to build an MVP. You can't request for a grant with. Uh, I mean, you might get it with an idea, but it might be quite challenging, might be quite difficult, right? So in order for you to increase your chances of getting it, you need to build an MVP. You need to show some dedication into that project you're building. You need to work on it for like I would say over a month, or you must have been working on it for a month or two, right? Before you can before you know just say you want to like apply for the grant. And secondly, the idea, right, that you're working on, you should maybe work on a niche idea, right? I would say if you pick an idea that is popular, that couple of hundreds of developers have worked on it, it might reduce your chances, right? Because it might feel like you have like very slim chances of of dominating that particular that particular space. But if you pick a very niche idea and decide to work on it, I think that will also increase your chances of getting the grant. And lastly, you asked me how has the grant impacted the product, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I would say it has impacted the product greatly because I personally, for the past 5 to 6 months, I left my full time job just to work on Cairoblocks, and ever since then, I've been working on it with my team. So without the grant, right, I wouldn't be able to do that, of course. So I think uh, I think every project, right, every project with a potential deserves a grant, right? Because it helps, the team to focus fully on that particular project. And it's a common problem among us developers, right, to start a project without finishing it, right? It's a global problem. Every developer has a problem. So when when you give like a team of developers grants to work on a project they decide to work on, it's like you tying them to completing that project, right? So now they have like an obligation to actually work on that project to completion, right? But if they are working on it without the grant, sometimes so sometimes let me use myself for instance. Sometimes I might feel like uh, nobody believes in this project, right? Because there
Mm.
is no form of uh, there is no vector out there that is showing you that people actually love what you're doing. People actually want to use this stuff that you're burning hundreds of hours into. So I think grant helps the project a lot. So I think every project with the potential deserves a grant. So and in our project it has helped us tremendously. Like that is what has kept us going from then up till now. And I mean building product is I mean most product, right? Building most product is quite expensive. It's not just about uh writing code, right? You need to research, and if you're building like a product that involves some form of cloud infrastructure, you need to pay for those subscription, right? Let's say if you've been working on it for the past 6 months or 1 year, it means that 6 months, right? You pay the cloud subscription per month. So it means you've been paying that subscription
Yeah.
for the 6 months. So such kind of expenses is not really uh, an easy task to handle such kind of expenses when you're building on your own. So that's like one of the uses of the grant, and a lot of other use cases like that. I think it has helped us greatly.
Okay, okay. I like that. I like that. Earlier on, you spoke about belief, feeling like nobody, like you said, if the grants had not been there, you probably one could have felt like, oh, no one believes in them and everything. And I can understand that. So, okay, let's say outside the grant, how do you say it has been? What has the response from the community been like users and everything? Has there been any like feedback or any notable surprises that have stood out from like probably having this conversation? Has there been anything like that?
Well, I would say we are the one like currently we're the one currently you know causing like some kind of delay from the user's perspective, because I think a lot of people are looking forward to the completion of this product, right? For instance, the I posted like a video, like a video on X, just a very short video demonstrating like some of the capabilities that Cairoblocks can do, and from there we got a lot of positive response. A lot of people are interested, mostly interested in the visual programming interface, the part where you can just move, blocks around to build Cairo contracts. And a couple of people are also interested in the part where you can, compile and deploy your Cairo contracts in a zero environment. So I think we've gotten like a lot of feedback. We've gotten like a lot of potential users, looking forward to when we'll release a stable version of it. So I think the response so far has been good, and to be honest, it has really been encouraging. Especially in times when we're facing some form of technical difficulty. The fact that people out there looking forward to us to ship these products, is one of the motivating factors that has kept us going. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Okay, so now Following what you said, is there a time we can expect the products to ship? Is there a time we can have in mind, say, okay, within this time period, within this period of time, we expect this product to ship? Do we have like a number on that?
Yes, actually, before the end of so currently we are like 80% done. We've done like most of the cloud infra setup, and we've already built the layout and everything. So we're like, let me just say we're like 85% done, right? To the point where we can release like a better version out there for people to test out. So uh before the end of this month, September 2025, we'll release like a better version, like that has all of the functionality of Cairoblocks that people can actually use and try out. So yeah, before the end of September 2025, we release the initial version.
Okay, okay, all right. So, looking to the future, what would you say? Uh, what excites you the most about building this? Okay, yes, you got what's it called? You got some grants from Starknet Foundation, which is great and everything. But other than that, what would you say excites you the most? Then you spoke about how this is this is a problem you yourself experienced. So, but other than that, what excites you the most about this?
Well, what excites me the most about building Cairoblocks is the capabilities that we're giving to people out there, right? Before Cairoblocks, right, you can't write Cairo contract, you can't build Cairo contract right from your mobile phone, right from your device, right? But when we're done, you can, from anywhere you are, you can just pull out your phone, go to cairoblocks.com and start building Cairo contracts, right? Before Cairo blocks, you can actually do stuff like that. And the fact that we are enabling a lot of other people to be able to build on the blockchain, to build on Starknet, that's like another exciting factor. That's one of the things that keeps me excited about building Cairo blocks, and a lot of other things. Like there are a lot of other things that keeps me excited. But these are just a few ones I can list now.
That's great. That's great. You did speak about how, okay, when you started for like the first month, you were just doing it. I don't know if you were working on it alone over the course of the first month, or if it was after that you got the grant. If it was after the grant, you got people to come on board. I don't know what that's like, but I'd like to know how have you kept your team motivated over this period? You've been on this for quite a bit. How would you say you've kept your team motivated and everything? Like, because this is something that you said you're shipping by the end of the month, so that's quite it's quite something. How have you been handling that?
One of the ways that I've been keeping the team motivated is the fact that there are a lot of people out there looking forward to use this particular product. I think that alone is a great motivation on its own, because you know nowadays it's really not easy for you to build a product that will capture people's attention, because there are thousands of other platforms there. There are other applications out there that are taking people's time these days, right? So for some set of people to decide to look forward to when you release your own product, I mean, to me it means a lot. It means a lot to me and the team, and that is one thing that is motivating us to uh, that is actually keeping us motivated. And so another thing keeping us motivated is the support from the ecosystem, right? Because the ecosystem is quite young now, the Starknet ecosystem. So we believe that when we ship this out, there will be, when new devs start coming in, right? Our platform will be like the base for other devs or new developers, communities, ecosystem to build upon, right? So, these are just a few of the things keeping us motivated. And yeah.
All right, that's great. That's great. Uh, what's it called? I know someone who would say something. She'd say if you start something and everything just flows easily from the beginning, then something is wrong with that thing. That is what she says. Now, what's your view? Okay, have you experienced any challenges over the course of this of building Cairoblocks? I want to hear that story, and I want you to like tell us what were these challenges and how did you sort them out? I'd like to hear. How do you navigate these challenges?
Well, wow, see the challenges are like, I say the most part of building it, because like every part of it, right, every component of it was really challenging to build, because the thing about Cairo blocks is that it's not like maybe a simple web application that you build like a front end, build a back end to read from your database, and you bring the two together and you add some little authentication and stuff like that, and you have a system. No, Cairoblocks is not in any way related to the system. And for such kind of systems, right, that are like very, very common, you can easily uh, check out how other people have done it and maybe just build upon that. But in the case of Cairo blocks, we have to build everything from scratch, right? Because the thing is, Cairo blocks is made up of like a couple of components, right? So first of all, the visual programming interface. Now, for instance, for us to build that, right, we had to like take the Cairo virtual machine. That's for the Cairo language, the Cairo language virtual machine. We had to take it and break it down into like the smallest component, and we had to now like start to figure out how to rebuild those components into uh, tiny blocks that you can just bring together and form a program, right? So it's like us deep diving into the Cairo language, the Cairo language virtual machine. This was built by like uh, by, I would say, expert cryptographers and programmers. It took them a very long time, to them years to build, and they iterate on Cairo. So the most challenging part was us trying to like understand, every bit of it, every component of it, and trying to figure out how to like mold it to form a block out of it. And that's the first challenging part, forming the blocks. And the second part is building the generator, because when you bring those blocks together, just like how Lego blocks come together, when you bring them together, right, with just a click of a button, you can generate the equivalent Cairo program or contract. So that was like another challenging part for us, because we had to build like an intermediary. We had to build like an engine in between the blocks and the code, right? Just like a generator, right? That will take whatever is there, that will take all the blocks, process it, reference the Cairo VM, and do a lot of stuff behind the scene and generate the the equivalent Cairo program. So this alone like are super challenging, because uh nobody has done it out there. Like I know a couple of team that that started to work on something similar, right? Then most of them they've closed shop. Most of them have abandoned the project. So it was super challenging, because we didn't like see any project out there that we could take a look at how they did it. So we had to like do everything on our own from scratch. And the other challenging part, I mean, there were a lot, right? But these are just like the main one that I can list for the sake of our limited time. So the other one was the 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 infra, the back end infra part of it, right? Because Cairo Blocks allows you to simply write, and with just a click of a button, you can deploy your Cairo contract, right? So what that means is, in simple terms, we have like, excuse me, in simple terms, we have like a machine in the cloud, right? That is hosted in the cloud, such that when you click on that button, it takes your Cairo program, send it to that machine. It install all of the packages for you, and that is another challenge, right? For you to you know set up your environment, you have to install a couple of packages. You have to make sure that the various packages, right, their versions are correct, right? Because there are some packages that don't work with the versions of some other packages. So you have to make sure that some of these things are correct. So that's like part of what we are abstracting away from the builders. So it's like you have it's like we have like a machine in the cloud that, once you click on deploy, it's spin up the machine, install these packages and dependencies, and it runs your program in that machine, it deploys it, and then returns the correct output to you as the user, right? As quick as possible. So that's like another challenge, and that's like a very simplistic explanation of how it works. It's more complex than that, actually. So for that, the challenging part is scalability. Like, we had to like spend a lot of time and the resources, trying to figure out how to scale it such that uh, maybe if, you know, 2 people or 10 people, 20, 100 people are trying to, compile their current program at the same time, how do we make sure that they don't, you know, they don't like wait for too long to get their program compiled, or the correct output gets returned to the correct client, and a lot of stuff like that. So for me, before then, right, I was more focused on I was more of like a native backend engineer. I do backend stuff, build backend systems and stuff like that, and at least I knew enough, right, to make sure that my backend systems, my database, my API endpoints scale, depending on the number of users, right, that we have, right? But while building Cairoblocks, I needed more than enough, like more than I need more knowledge of cloud engineering than just scaling backend systems, right? I need to know how to do like a lot of configuration. So I have to like embark on, like a 3 months cloud engineering course, just to like know how to configure our environment in the cloud. So these are just a few challenges I can list, but the challenges have been, I mean, there are a couple of challenges, and I would say one simple principle that we use to like um to you know overcome these challenges is focus, right? Because sometimes when you face problems like this, right, they might seem impossible, right? Not until you spend like you just work on that particular problem. First of all, you break it down, right? I like to work with the first principles, right? You break it down into the smallest unit of problem, and you solve that particular unit of problem. You move on to the next one, you solve it, and before you know it, you solve like the whole problem as a whole, right? So I would say one strategy we used, right, is focus, and breaking the problem down into the smallest possible units. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Clearly, over the course of doing this, you've learned quite a bit. You've learned quite a bit, even if having to go into the cloud. It's quite interesting. That's quite interesting. Uh, okay, so let's talk about time. What does success look like for Cairoblocks? We're talking 6 years from. I'm sorry, 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. What would you say success for Cairoblocks looks like?
Okay. the most important metric of success for us is how many people are actually using it, and also how many seconds or minutes or hours it is saving developers, right? So maybe in 6 months from now we figured out that we've helped developers save each developer, right? Or let's say all the developers that we were able to all the users, right? Let's say all the users were able to save their time, the overhead time they used to like install and set up their environment. Let's say if we've been able to save like maybe 1,000 or maybe 2,000 hours of developers time, I think that's like enough. That's like a good enough metric for us. Or we've been able to like make writing Cairo contract or building a Starknet easy for like 5,000, 10,000 developers. I think that's like a good enough metrics for us in the next 6 months.
That's great. That's great. Okay, so to wrap it up, let's talk about people who are trying to like build with Cairo, build on the Starknet ecosystem. Uh, what advice do you have for them? Do you have anything to say to them?
Okay, for anybody who is new to the ecosystem, uh, I think the first thing you should try to do is to join like a base camp, because it is not easy learning and building on your own. So when you join like a base camp or a Cairo cohort, right? You get to like learn from number one, you get to learn from the expert. Number two, you get to learn along with your peers. You get to learn with other people who are in the same level of knowledge as you. So you can maybe share ideas with them. You can maybe debug your code with them and stuff like that. So uh, you can either join the Starknet base camp, right? I think the Starknet base camp holds like I think twice or thrice a year, or you can either join I think the other base camp that we do over here at Blockhead Web 3, right? I think the next upcoming base camp is this month, right? It's this September. Before the end of the month, a new cohort of Cairo base camp is starting. So you can either join any of them, or there are other like a lot of other base camp happening. Even Starknet Africa hold do organize Starknet Cairo base camp periodically. So you can either join anyone, and there are others as well. There are others as well. So the first thing is to join this base camp, this cohort base camp, and get to like learn from expert and get to learn from your peers. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much, Ibrahim. It's been great having you here. It's been great having you here. And thank you very much, our listeners. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for tuning in. It's been great having you. Uh, we'll be ending the show here. Remember to follow Starknet Africa on X, and also subscribe to Starknet Africa's YouTube page on YouTube. And until next Wednesday, see you soon.